special ceremonies and dressing up.
That sounds fun.
Unbelievable.
Welcome and happy Midsummer. Skål!
What's up, movie freaks? So I just watched Midsommar, and I thought I'd give you my quick thoughts. So Midsommar is directed by Ari Aster. This was my first film I'd seen from him, but he's also the director of Hereditary, which I'm also going to watch this October, so keep your eye out for that. But I was definitely really impressed by him for first watch. This film has really amazing cinematography. That's probably its strongest point for me anyway. Cinematography is just really, really good, very aesthetically pleasing, creative camera work, really solid. This film has a bit of a slow pace, a slow build, but that part is really good. It doesn't feel like it drags, but it also doesn't feel like there's enough of a payoff towards the end. That's probably the worst thing about the film, is that it doesn't feel like it has a good payoff. It feels like it kind of climaxed a bit early. All the acting here is really good, really well written characters, some better written than others, but there's not any bad performances anywhere here, really. There's also some great visual effects for showing when they're on drugs, and there's a lot of attention to detail in those areas. This film's not as much of a horror film as I thought it was going to be. There's definitely a lot of horror elements there, but overall it's really solid. I'm really impressed with this director. I can't wait to see Hereditary. I'm giving this one an 8 out of 10, and I do recommend it, but maybe just don't expect a straight up horror film. I have a special guest today. Here is Film and Thespian, and what he thinks about the film.
Midsommar. That was a trip. It was very intense. I have a lot of good things to say about this. Everything was well crafted. I mean, everything from acting. The acting was really good. Like, it felt very natural and it felt very real. There were very few actors who actually made me feel like I was watching actors in a movie. And I think mainly that came from me having seen them in other things. And there were some also like background kids who kind of took me out a little bit, but that was like just background stuff. And you know, everything's fine. And also, the cinematography was gorgeous. The music was really, really good. The story was really well written. The dialogue was really well written. It was very well directed. The whole lore and story and everything around the ritual, or that whole thing was really well crafted. You could tell that they put a lot of time and effort into making it because it felt really real. And also, the props and the set design for this whole movie, for that specific setting, was so well done. It made me feel like I was actually a part of it, and it made me feel like this was a real thing that actually happened every single year. So yeah, lots of praise for this movie. I wasn't sure what to expect from it. I didn't know if it was going to be like a slasher film. I didn't know if it was going to be a lot of jump scares. I didn't know exactly what it was going to be, but it's definitely going for tension, and then disturbing, which is probably my favorite type of horror, because that stuff like sticks with you, and that stuff kind of just grabs you in the stomach and twists. It does really good job of building tension and holding it there, and then the payoff is really well done. And because there were moments where I could feel my heart beating in my chest, and I was like sitting there like kind of like anticipating something to happen, you know? It was intense, and there were some really intense moments, and I think it was a really well done movie. It's a bit lengthy, but I didn't really feel the length at all, and it felt like that length was deserved. It didn't feel like they were trying to stretch it out to that length just to make it a long movie. You know, it felt like they were trying to tell a story, and that story took that amount of time to tell. I think the only problem I had with it was there were a few times where I kind of felt like they were trying a little too hard to be artsy and to be disturbing. Like, it felt like they were trying a little too hard. And not the whole movie. It was just like a few moments where I was like, kind of making me feel like you're trying a little too hard to make an art film. It gave me a lot of vibes like The Witch. If you've seen The Witch, you'll probably like this movie because it's not necessarily scary. It's a lot of tension and disturbing stuff. That's where the horror comes in, and it's all about culture as well. It's leaning into culture to kind of give you that feeling of the unknown, that feeling of tension. And it definitely felt like everyone was on the same page, everyone knew exactly what they wanted, and it came out fantastic. I give this one a 9 out of 10. It is really well done. If you haven't seen it already, go check it out. It's a trip. If you don't like gory, disturbing things, I probably wouldn't recommend it because there's quite a few graphic images, quite a few, especially when it gets further into the film. It gets pretty graphic. So if you don't like graphic, gore, horror, you might want to pass on this one, but if that stuff doesn't bother you and you're not squeamish at all and you don't have like a weak stomach, I would definitely give this one a watch because it is a really well done movie.
Well, that's all I got for this one. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to keep an eye out for more quick thoughts this October. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Auf Wiedersehen.
What do you think? It's like another world. Tomorrow's a big day.
Is it scary?